In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact process to break into high ticket sales in 2026 as quickly as possible. And this is the same framework that I take my students through inside of my mastermind to help them go from unsatisfied in their current job, breaking into high ticket sales and making their first $5,000 to $10,000 per month online. So if you've been looking for a clear roadmap to get started in this industry in 2026, this is it. Lock in, get ready to take some notes, and let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, let's go ahead and define exactly what a high ticket closer is. So when you decide to step into high ticket sales in 2026 and become a remote high ticket closer, you're essentially going to be a contracted remote sales rep for online businesses. And the specific type of businesses you're going to be selling for are typically going to be online coaching and consulting businesses. And the best way for me to explain this to you is to think about what you're seeing on your social media feeds in 2026. There's more influencers on social media than ever before. You know, people that promote themselves on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and people that run paid ads, and they position themselves as experts. And all of these people that you're seeing online that are selling courses and coaching programs and things like that, they're in a specific industry called the high ticket coaching industry. And all of them run the exact same play. They post on social media, promote their businesses, put together offers to help people achieve a specific result, and then they funnel people in to be able to sell them their programs. These programs could be anything from a live event to a mastermind to a coaching program or even a course or something like that. And as these guys and girls grow their businesses, one very specific problem starts to present itself for them. And that is that they don't have enough time in the day between fulfilling for their clients, running their businesses, posting content to take the inbound sales calls. So once those leads start to pile up, they end up bringing on remote closers, high ticket closers, set appointments and close deals for them. And that's where people like you and I come in if you are to become a high ticket closer. You come into these coaching businesses that have inbound leads coming in and a good offer to sell, and you take inbound sales calls and sign people up for whatever coaching program it is that you happen to be selling. And what's so cool about this industry is that the income potential is absolutely great. I've seen guys come in and make $5,000 to $10,000 per month in their first month or couple months. And if you get really, really good and land on a great offer, the income potential can be insane. You're talking 10, 20, 30K and even upwards of that per month in some cases. In addition to that, what's cool is that you're also going to be remote and you have way more control over your time than you do in your typical 9 to 5 or in-person sales job where you have a specific set of hours you have to work every single day and you're trapped in an office. And this is the exact industry that I've been in for the last 4 years, coming in from in-person sales before, and it changed my life. I was able to scale all the way to $50,000 per month while being able to travel the world with my wife and live life on my own terms and have way more freedom than I ever did when I was in-person sales. But with that being said, let's now dive into the exact process on how you can break into high ticket sales in 2026. So the process to breaking into high ticket sales in 2026 is actually way more simple than you probably think. It really boils down to just two things. And the first one is going to be actually building the skill. Now, this can be quite shocking to a lot of people because a lot of sales reps don't want to get into this industry. They think that the process would be first land a role, then that company is going to give you training, and then you can go make the kind of money you want to make. But let me tell you why that type of thinking is completely backwards. See, high ticket sales roles in 2026 are in very high demand. And the reason for that is because a lot of 9 to 5 employees and a lot of in-person sales reps are starting to realize they're in vehicles that are failing models. They don't have the ability to work from wherever they want. They're capped in their income and they have to work long hours if they actually want to make somewhat decent money. On the other hand, in high ticket sales, you get to be completely remote, you have more control of your schedule, and you have the ability to earn way more money selling something that's actually fulfilling. So because of that, a lot of the best companies that have the potential to pay you lots of money and give you a great lifestyle are very big on vetting the people that reach out to their company. They want to hire the best of the best because they're putting a lot of money into marketing to bring in leads that are going to buy their programs. And because of that, they want the most talented reps as possible on the phones talking to their leads at all times. And while a lot of these companies will provide ongoing support after you join their company and obviously give you training and stuff like that to scale you up and make you even better, they prefer to have somebody come into their company that's already had some professional sort of training before. Also, aside from just being attractive to these companies and positioning yourself properly for a job, another reason that you're going to want to get the skill training first is because it makes the ramp up a lot easier. You see, when people come into this industry from outside industries, again, like their 9 to 5 or their in person sales job, what a lot of them think is that it's going to be a cakewalk to just get into high ticket sales and start making money. They're sold on this dream that high ticket sales is easy. Everybody shows up pre sold with their credit card in hand, ready to pay for the program. And that is not the reality. This industry takes a high level of sales skill. And if you want to come into this industry, actually make really good income, you've got to take your communication, your sales skills to an entirely new level if you want to thrive in it. So because of that, the more practice you can get on the front end before you even start applying for jobs, and especially before you start taking your first high ticket sales calls, the more prepared you're going to be and the more confidence you're going to have, the quicker you're going to scale up as a closer. So with that being said, how do you actually prepare yourself before you go out and start applying for high ticket sales roles? And when do you know you're truly ready to become a closer and step into this industry? Well, in terms of getting training, here's what I recommend. Number one, obviously it goes without saying, you're going to want to learn a sales process that's proven inside the high ticket sales space. You can learn this through YouTube, books, courses, coaching programs, etc. I have a coaching program where I teach my 5-step framework to all my students before we help them land their first opportunity. But if you don't want to go that route, there are many YouTube videos where people explain their sales strategies and their process and things like that you can learn from for free on YouTube if you don't want coaching. But a big mistake a lot of sales reps make that you're definitely going to want to avoid is this thinking that getting the information is enough. And the way I really like to explain this to people is to think about golfing, right? You could watch hundreds of videos on golfing and YouTube tutorials and watch the PGA tournaments and things like that. But if you go out to step on a golf course and you've never actually swung a golf club, even if you've consumed thousands of hours of videos and things like that and seen other people swing, you're most likely going to fail miserably. And the reason for that is when you're swinging a golf club, there's so much going on from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. There's so many little micro movements and so many things that are happening all at the same time that without extensive reps, it's hard to actually execute and do things at a high level. High ticket sales is the exact same way. On a high ticket sales call, not only are you focused on what you're saying, your tonality, your body language, and everything like that, you're also focused on the prospect and their current state, their emotion, probing, and everything like that. There's a lot going on when you're on a high ticket sales call. So if you want to get really good before you actually try to step into this industry, in addition to consuming sales content and learning a sales process, you're going to want to get in a lot of reps and practice. That way you're ready to step into it the right way. And the best way to do this, and the way that I train my students inside of my program, is through doing mock calls. A mock call is essentially a role play where you have a friend or a coach or someone with you and you pretend to be the closer and they pretend to be the prospect, and you guys role play real life scenarios that happen all the time in high ticket sales. And this is absolutely the best way to train and get better at high ticket sales before you step into the industry. Because when you're on these mock calls, you get to practice your tonality, your delivery, going through the script, memorizing, you're really drilling it into your brain. So I can't recommend it enough. In addition to learning a sales process that's proven, you're also going to want to get in tons and tons of reps. Really getting good at high ticket sales when you've never been in the industry before really looks different for everybody. A lot of people learn at different paces. So I've seen some people that can learn this in a matter of a couple weeks. Others, it may even take a couple months. But the truth is, the more practice you put in, the more reps you get in, the shorter the process is going to be. When do you know if you're actually ready to become a high ticket closer and start applying for jobs? I would say it's when you can run a full mock call, role playing with one of your friends or a coach without any distractions, without any mistakes, and you can fully execute a proven sales process. Once you get to that point, you're ready to move on to step 2 and start applying for jobs. All right, and we are now on to step 2, and this is landing your first offer. So once you have actually acquired the skill, putting in the reps, you've done the mock calls, and you've built up your sales skills to a point where you're ready to start applying and land your first high ticket sales role, finding an offer in itself is its own challenge. And the reason for that is simple, right? Just like in most other industries, while there are a lot of great companies in high ticket sales, there are also a lot that don't really have much opportunity. And the ultimate determining factor of your success as a high ticket closer is going to come down to just 2 things. That's your skill set and the offer that you're on. And you'll always be limited in what you can make by the offer that you're on. Because if you're not on a hot offer and you're the only person taking sales calls, you get hired by a company that's barely getting any leads, doesn't have any leadership, doesn't have a great product. No matter how good you get at closing, there's just not enough opportunity for you to really thrive. So when it comes to actually landing your first high ticket sales role and getting hired for the first time, there's a couple steps you want to follow. Number one, you've got to learn how to find the companies. So some of the best places to go out and actually find high ticket sales companies that are hiring that you can apply for is going to be Meta Ads Library, the School Platform, WAP, Facebook groups, and LinkedIn. By going to the Meta Ads Library created by Meta, you can actually see all active advertisers on the Facebook and Instagram platforms at all times. So if you go to Meta Ads Library and you simply look up a keyword, whether that be day trading, fitness, sales training, or whatever it may be, you can then see every single coach that's running ads targeting that specific keyword. This allows you to find coaches and consultants that are actively running paid ads, and this can be a telltale sign that a coaching company is doing well if they're running paid ads. This means that they have a proven offer, they're getting leads currently, and they probably have a sales team. By using the School and WAP platform, you can actually go and find active communities that coaches and consultants are running. School and WAP both are websites where coaches will host their communities and their courses. So by simply going to the search feature on either one of those websites, you can look up specific keywords and then find coaches that have communities teaching those specific lessons. And lastly, both Facebook groups and LinkedIn, these are fairly easy to use. All you got to do is go to Facebook, go to groups, and look up high ticket sales, and you'll see dozens and dozens of groups that are posting high ticket sales opportunities daily. But the next step in the process of actually landing your first high ticket sales role is even more important than finding the roles, because before you accept your first job opportunity in high ticket sales, you're going to want to actually properly screen the company to make sure there's enough opportunity there. When you're looking for different high ticket sales opportunities, you're going to want to audit each company you look at working for on these three things. The first thing is that they need to have a good product. If you're going to go sell for a high ticket company that sells a coaching program, but it doesn't get the students results, they don't have great testimonials, you're setting yourself up for failure, because one, you're going to have a hard time believing in the program, and two, it's probably not going to be around for that long. Number two is great leadership. You don't want to go work for a company that's not going to give you any ongoing support, because that's going to leave you feeling left alone and limited on how much you can grow because you don't have proper training. And the last thing is going to be leads. In addition to having a great product to sell and great leadership with whatever company you land, you're also going to want to have leads. Not only are you going to need quality leads that are actually educated on what your company offers, but you're also going to need a good enough quantity of leads to actually make the kind of money you want to make. If you're looking at working for a high ticket coaching business and they don't have great leadership, great product, and great leads, then you're probably going to want to avoid that altogether, because that'll leave you stuck spinning your wheels and starting back at square one. Assuming you are able to actually go out and find a good high ticket business and they pass your initial screening, the next steps are simple. You're simply going to want to apply, and then you're going to have to interview. Applying for high ticket sales companies is a little bit different. You're going to need what I like to call a hiring profile, which means you're going to want to have a resume, probably a recording of one of your best mock calls showing that you have practice and you know what you're doing. And then lastly is a Loom video. If your application looks good and your hiring assets are dialed in, then you should be moved on to the next stage, and then you can interview and land your first role. I could easily put together an entire video on the interview process when it comes to high ticket sales, but the main things you're going to want to keep in mind is to show up on time and be professional, have a good background setting, and be in a quiet environment where you can lock in and focus completely, and be ready for the interview questions. A lot of high ticket sales companies run either group interviews or one-on-ones, and they ask a lot of different questions to test you and see how you handle high pressure situations. One of the main things I give my students access to inside of my program, High Ticket Dominance, is a cheat sheet of all the most common interview questions I've seen high ticket sales companies ask closers on both the group interviews and the one-on-ones, so that they can go in fully prepared, knowing exactly what to expect. But assuming you do pass the interview when it comes to high ticket sales, you're officially going to be hired. And if you've successfully found a company, screened it well to make sure it's actually legit, and then had a good application and passed the interview, then you, my friend, are now in the high ticket sales industry, and congratulations, it's time to start closing. So as you can see, the process of breaking into high ticket sales is actually really simple. It's simply acquiring the skill and then landing a great offer. If you can just do those two things, you'll be on your way to making great money online with a great company. Now, if as we've gone through this video, you're looking for more advanced help. You want the step-by-step on how to dominate both steps of this process. And that's exactly why I created my High Ticket Dominance Mastermind. See, this program was designed to help you shortcut this process. Instead of having to figure out how to acquire the skill on your own and try to piece together a bunch of things you find on YouTube and in books and whatnot, we give you my 5-step sales process. It's generate over $10 million online, give you reps and help you with mock calls. And then we walk you through the entire hiring process, giving you access to vetted opportunities you can apply for and giving you the best practices that have helped dozens of our students land great roles and break into this industry. So if you want to learn more about high ticket dominance and how I help students dominate the high ticket sales industry, you can click the link below in the video. But if not, thanks for watching. Hope you got a lot of value. Talk soon.